Hello friends, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to cover the topic called as variables. So in Automation Anywhere, we have the majorly, if we classify the variables as in the two types like user defined and another one is the system defined variables. So let's navigate to the control room and see what are the uh, what are the different types of variables in the user defined and the system variables. So this is our previous bot that we have already did some of the activities. So let's navigate to the variables tab. Now in this one, you can see this is a browser variable and there is some sample number. It's a number variable. Then sample string, it's a string variable. This is also str output string variable. And this is one called as window variable. Okay, so these are the user-defined variables that we have created during the runtime of the bot execution or the creation. Okay, but before again going detail in that, let's see the major difference between this is between this user-defined is uh, these are the created by user and the system defined. So these are by default. So this is the major difference between this two types of variables. So all the variables that we are able to see currently, so these are the user defined. And still we can say, okay, let's navigate to this variable tab and again click on this create variable. Now here you can see the type of variable. It's a string currently by default. If you just click on this, so you can see there are multiple types of variables that we can create. So this is the any type of variable. So this will be used whenever we don't know what will be the exact output of the particular operation or any activity that we are performing. So at that time we can select this any type of variable. Then string. So for the string, whenever we know the output will be in terms of any string combination of alphabets, numericals, everything. So that will be the string output text. Then we have the number. Whenever we are extracting some of the numbers or doing some uh, calculations, so we can use the number variable. Then we have the date time variable. So in order to get the different formats of the date time variable, or if you want to do some date time calculations, calculating some of the dates before, after, so there we can do this or you can use this variable. Then we have the boolean. So there are only two values we can assign to this as either true or false. So this boolean variable we are generally using to validate the execution of the task bot. Like as we have seen the concept of master task bot and the child task bot, that is calling one of the sub bot in the main task. So, and if you want to perform any operation after execution of that particular subbot, and we need to validate whether that subbot has executed successfully or is there any exception. So at that time, we can set this variable as a true or false in that particular subbot, and we can pass it to the master, and based on the condition as true or false, we can execute the further things and do the validation. Then we have the file variable where the file will be stored, like it can be a control room file or the desktop file folder. Then we have the window variable. So in the previous video, we have seen the window variable. Whenever we are launching any website like Google or any website, it's a window variable will be created. Then credential. So in order to store the sensitive data such as username, password, or any uh, information like secret ID or number, so we can use the credential vault with the key with the locker with the locker. So we have to create the locker and then we have to add the credentials to that particular locker in the as a attributes username and password. Then we have the list. So whenever we are doing some manipulation, or we are splitting some of the string into multiple parts by using some delimiter, and there we are knowing that the output is going to be in the multiple splits. So there we can use the list variable, and we can access the we can say the contents of that particular list using the indexing. Then the important one, that is again a dictionary variable, where the values will be stored in the form of key value pair. So this we are generally using to read the config file. So config file is nothing but a set of data which is used by the bot, and in that one we generally store the folder structure paths, then some of the URLs that we need to pass, then retry count, the delays, and the email, we can say the subject. So whatever the standard data that we need to pass to the bot during the runtime, so that will be stored in the dictionary with the key value pair, and the key values are unique. Okay. Then we have this record variable. So generally whenever we are performing the Excel automation, either basic or advanced, so we generally use this record variable whenever we are looping through some of the data table. So whenever we are reading the data from the Excel and storing in the data table, and then we want to fetch the data one by one row from the Excel. So there we can use this for each row in data table and pass the value of data table, and its value will be stored in the record variable, and the record variable will store at a time uh, at a time one full row data. That is one by one, each row data will be stored in the record variable at a time. So that is the concept of record variable. Then we have the table variable. So as like I said, whenever you are doing some Excel automation, or if you are extracting some of the uh, data like data from the web page in the form of table, so there you can use the table variable, and based on that table we can use extract the data from that data table by using either indexing or with the help of headers, if the headers are properly formatted. So the major difference between this record and table is the table variable will store all the data in the form of rows and columns, all data at a time. And in the record, only one row at a time will be stored. So that is the difference. Then we have the another variable as form. So form variable, it's like any files instance. So that will be used whenever we are creating the forms. And a session. So this session variable generally comes whenever we are performing the Excel automation. So whenever you are opening any Excel file, either by using basic or advanced package, so we need to maintain a particular session name, a unique session name for that particular file. So if you are opening the multiple files at a time, like 2 to 3 or 4 Excels at a time, and you are copying data from one Excel to other, So in that scenario, the Excel session name will identify from which Excel you are getting the data and in which Excel you want to dump the data. So that will be decided only with the help of session name. So that is the important point for the Excel automation. So let's create one number variable as num input. So whenever you are creating, it will be populating in over here, num input. And the same you can use it in the taskbot. So this is all about user defined variables. Now if you go with the system variables, so here you can see there is a in the same under variables tab in the predefined variable system. So you can see there are multiple variables. So system defined variables, it will consist of all the different variables related to, let's say, date, time, then the system related, or the where you are executing the task bot, then control room details. See, a control room URL will be written the URL of the connected control room. So if we execute this, so you will get this URL. The CPU usage, then hour, minute, millisecond, OS operating system name. So these are some of the system defined variables. Again, some string variables like enter, form feed, new line, separator, tab. So if you use this, so these will be automatically implied to that particular string data. And we have system variable package. Yes. So again, these are some of the additional variables we can use. Okay, so let's see 2 to 3 variables. I will use the, okay, I need to navigate to the message actions and use the message box. And now I need to pass, let's pass this anyone. A control room. System colon AA control room. Let's save this and run this. Now you can see the message box. It will show the URL of the community edition that currently the bot is executed. So this is the control room variable. Also, we can use the date time system colon date. Okay, sorry. Let's say millisecond, and as it is a number, so we can convert it to dot to string so that it will be displayed in the form of string variable. So current runtime millisecond will be displayed in the message box. So it's a 2. Okay, or let's use the datetime variable. Actually, we have dedicated datetime package as well. See, here you can calculate the date manipulation. We will use datetime to string. So here let's pass the system:date and let's give the custom format, or from this format you can choose any one, like a local date time. Let's give it the custom format dd hyphen hyphen yyyy, then hour, minute, second, and let's assign the output to the sample string and use the message box after this and put the sample string over there, and let's run the bot. So current date time will be displayed in the form of ddmmyy and hour, minute, second. And before that, line number 13, it's a millisecond to 36. And this is the current date time, date ddmmyy, then hour, minute, and second. So in this way, you can use these variables for manipulating or to perform any operations. So this is all about the different types of variables, and we can do many operations based on this variables. So this is all about the different types of variables like user defined. We have seen the user defined and the system defined variables. So user defined will be created by the user in the runtime, and system variables will be created, or they are present by default. We can use them in the bot. So we will be giving you the assignments at the end of this video or afterwards, so you can perform those. Thank you.